Hello. I just wanted to ask, so West Coast ports are doing extremely well right now. West Coast ports, Port of LA is kind of taking a decline in their volumes, but here, Port of New York and New Jersey is doing extremely well. Is there any concern of being, overwhelmed and, being strained, especially with holidays coming like right around the corner, and people, putting in their orders, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so much is happening. Just wanted to see if there's any concern.
Let me just have the first comment on that before Rick jumps in. So when you look at our numbers, we're 127% from the 2019 numbers, 11% over what our projections were. The ports have never done better. I will tell you, is a credit to the folks who are handling the cargo, the infrastructure that was laid out years ago in terms of the rail service and the machines. We are thrilled at the operation. There is an anticipation that some of the shippers had and suppliers and warehouses had front-loaded some of their cargo, anticipating whether it be a recession or some other difficulties. So you're seeing a huge spike early. Our folks have been taking on the cargo, and we expect record amounts to continue.
Well, the only additional comment I would make, Chairman has covered it, is the actual peak in terms of holiday shipments is really the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall. So in terms of the seasonality, we're past that, and the port has handled the surge in cargo, which is now 26 months long, extremely well. And in fact, to some extent, the ships at anchor, if you look at our statistics, have declined over the last couple of weeks. So there's really no concern that the port will not be able to handle the current surge.
Beth Ann Rooney, did we get that right? Yes, sir. All right, appreciate it. Next question.
Next question is Colleen Wilson with the record.
Yeah, just wanted to follow up on the ridership trends that you're seeing on Path, also the return to cars and TB&T. What do you make of the return so far? Is it what you expected? Would you like to see more? Any other like kind of context on the return to work and vehicles and transportation?
My comment on that would be that Path is recovering more slowly than we expected. As I reported in the meeting, it's now at 58% of 2019 ridership. It's been moving up slowly, but it's directly comparable to what the subway in New York has and what most mass transit systems are seeing. So I think the big picture here is cars have recovered because there has been what you might call a modal shift. Many people prefer to drive in their personal vehicles, and that mass transit numbers are coming back more slowly, and we'll just have to see what the future holds.
In the meantime, we're preparing for a very robust path future. As you know, we've made repairs and on the platforms that will allow for a 9-car capacity, which will hopefully start sooner than later. And obviously with the 72-car purchase that will be brought into our service line sometime, hopefully the end of 2023, early 2024, we're expecting to be fully online, and hopefully we're going to reach that capacity number in path sooner than later. But it's slow, frustrating, but we're going to get there.
Next up, Larry Higgs from New Jersey Advanced Media.
Two questions. First of all, about the unions. Basically, you accomplished the milestone of getting 23 contracts settled. That was a goal you set forth in 2017. What are your thoughts about that? Did you expect it to take this long? And the second topic, your peer agency across the river just raised tolls. We're questioning whether that's going to happen here, given that you've seen the revenue loss due to COVID and the effects of inflation.
Well, my reaction to the 23rd union agreement, which we got signed, it was a goal that the chairman and I set when we first arrived, and it's bravo. It's a big thank you to really all of the 23, the leadership of all of the 23 unions in terms of sitting down, negotiating. Everyone negotiated hard, but really this is a major milestone of now having settled the 23rd contract. Now every single represented worker at the Port Authority has a collective bargaining agreement that is in effect and in force. And that's just a major change from 5 years ago. So it is, it's very important, and it's very gratifying that we got there.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Larry, I mean, it's not like a Cal Ripken record or Joe DiMaggio accomplishment, but I will tell you this, to have 23 unions that were out of contract for more than a dozen years, to have them resolved as of this moment is pretty special. And it really is a credit to the mandate that Rick put down, our chief counsel, head of HR, Mary Lee, Gary DeLaverson, who's our labor counsel, and really cooperation of the unions themselves. You know, Rick and I sat across the table many times having these discussions with these union reps and these employees. Sometimes they were very frustrating, and sometimes those conversations were frustrating. You know, we took a tour in the path some time ago, and it was a very emotional back and forth with some of the folks who were still out of contract. We wanted to give a fair contract, but we had certain parameters and certain restraints. There's only so much money that can go around the table. They all work hard. They deserve a fair contract, and I'm proud to tell you that they all received a fair contract, and evidenced by the fact that they all voted for those 23 contracts. But now we rest for a moment, you exhale, and we're on to the next level of negotiations. And it's going to be, I'm sure, tough, but I think we've lessons learned over the last 5 years. I'm hoping the next line of negotiations will go smoother, faster, and they'll get a quicker end result.
And on your tolls question, the budget process is fully underway. We will be proposing a 2023 budget in the middle of November, and tolls and fares will be part of that budget announcement.
Thanks, Larry.
Turning to our virtual questions, first up is Pat McGean with the New York Times. Pat?
Okay, hi. I have a two-part question. I'm wondering if you can give us anything like a specific date as to when passengers will start using the new Terminal A at Newark? And secondly...
So before the end of the year isn't good enough for you, Pat?
Well,
you could say no.
But that's our.
It's only 2 months. It's only 2 months away, right?
Well, it is. We haven't set a precise date, but it's going to be before the end of the year.
And on the AirTrain LaGuardia replanning, where do you stand? Have you received any preliminary reports? Has anything been eliminated? When will we hear something more about it?
Well, we're in the final stages of the report. I've been through 2 drafts of it. We have a little bit more due diligence and discussion to go. So the answer is soon, but not now.
Tom?
Terrific. Next up is Lorianne LaRocco from CNBC. Lorianne?
Next question, Tom.
Lorianne, do we have you?
Oh, I'm here. I'm sorry. I didn't unmute myself. Sorry about that, guys. I've got 2 questions for you. The first is on the record amount of TEUs that came in into September. We all know that trade is sticky with the problems with BA5 and the threat of the ILWU strike. Can you give some guidance into the future vessel orders that will be, making their way to New York to see just how strong this strength will continue?
Well, I think the chairman and I answered ballpark how we see the port. I would urge you to get in touch with Beth Ann Rooney, the director of the port, for further details. But the big picture here is that the record levels of cargo continue. The port has been up to it, handling it for more than 2 years now. And the backlogs, the ships at anchor, the days waiting to get into a berth at the Port of New York, despite this flood of cargo, have been handled just extraordinarily well. We expect that to continue. I have to say we've had a little bit of an internal back and forth sometimes where the port department wanted to predict that the levels were going to tail off. I always had confidence that that wasn't going to happen, and so far, Beth Ann, I hope you'll forgive me, but that the record levels of cargo have continued. So we will see. Obviously, the West Coast ports have struggled a little with their labor situation, but certainly there are no indications that this level of cargo compared to what it has been in the past is going to be reduced. But to the extent you want to pursue specifics, I would urge you to get in touch with our port director.
And she's shaking her head. She's looking forward to those questions. Those very granular questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
Beth Ann knows me very well. so don't worry about that. And actually, honestly, with the supply chain heat map, the Port of New York and New Jersey has been outstanding in terms of the throughput, if you will, with the port as relates to the dwell times and things like that. So I commend you, actually all the stakeholders with that performance. My second question is on the rails. As you know, the second union, there was a second union yesterday that voted no. As we all know, it only takes one railroad union to strike for the entire system to go down. What are your thoughts as this unfolds?
Well, we're not part of those negotiations. We think it would be in the national interest. It would be in everybody's interest for both sides to reach an amicable settlement. I think we all read the same reports, and I mean, it's a little bit hope for the best, plan for the worst, and so there are contingencies in place. Again, Beth Ann is the expert on that, but we're hoping this gets resolved favorably, both for both sides in terms of workers and railroads, and also in the national interest.
Thanks, Lori. And final questions, Kevin Dugan with Streetsblog. Kevin?
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I guess I have two questions. One quick follow-up on the LaGuardia question. Do you reckon the report could be coming out this year?
I hesitate about making predictions on that particular subject, so I'm not going to say more other than that we're working very hard and we're going to try to get it out as soon as possible.
Got it. And then my second one is on the Port Authority's bike master plan. The last update came out 5 years ago. I was wondering, are you planning to update that anytime soon? And can you share any kind of specifics that you're looking at to update to the bike master plan?
Well, we would like to update the bike master plan. We want to do it in coordination with the local governments. So there's been a good deal of discussion internally within the Port Authority as to how to update it, how aggressive we can be. And all I can tell you is that it's an active discussion. And when we do put it out, we want to be sure that it is supportive of what we can do. Our facilities are a little bit an island unto themselves in various places, but we are looking very hard at how we can be as supportive as possible of the bicycling community, and indeed in particular of Port Authority employees that want to bike to and from work, but also to ensure that our facilities are being as supportive of bicycling as they can be.
Is that it, Tom?
Thank you, Kevin. That concludes the Q&A. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. See you next month.